Sir Link-a-Lot, what exactly are we watching here? What is Randomizer? What are our runners going to end up doing here? And what are we going to expect from this?
All right, so Randomizer is basically, this is Link to the Past, but as you see, we get 5 rupees from the chest in Link's house. Instead of the items being in their normal place, they can be anywhere in the world. There is logic built into it where you can't soft lock the game or hard lock the game, so every seed should be completable. And as far as this, we're running standard swords randomized. Uncle is going to have a weapon. May not be a sword. I actually don't think it's going to be a sword. I didn't see him walk out with one. But it's going to be a weapon we can get through the escape and save Zelda.
And our weapon for today's seed is going to be the Fire Rod. Very powerful, uses a lot of magic, so they will have to watch that magic meter, but very effective tool for getting through this first part.
Yeah, probably one of my favorites to get through the first part, and we get some flippers early as well.
Not bad. That'll help with getting some of those water lock locations early on. Puts those in the logic, so yeah, off to a very, very good start so far. But yeah, another reason why we call this standard mode is when you play vanilla Link to the Past, this is generally the first thing you do in the game. You go through this little escape sequence through Hyrule Castle, you rescue Zelda, get her to the Sanctuary. It takes about 6 minutes to get through, so you know, you kind of have to go through this every single time you go through standard mode. If you play open mode, this will actually be omitted. And one thing our runners are going to be looking for, and Andy just actually found it, they're going to be looking for some bomb drops because there is a room that has 3 chests, which is locked behind a bomb wall. So Andy has his bomb, and Christos is going to probably want to maybe kill one guard. I think it was a green guard to get that bomb.
Yeah, it was a green guard, so maybe we'll see it drop off the green guard that he's forced to kill to get the doors to open up. But we'll see.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so far, both are runners on very, very even ground, although with a start like Fire Rod, not too surprising either. And yep, there is that bomb drop for Christos.
Yep, he's going to have to be quick to make it back there.
And he gets it no problem.
Yep, gets the bomb drop. Okay, don't have to worry about that. That's one of those things, especially in a finals match like this. You don't want to see something of a major item back there and the other runner doesn't get there for a while.
Making quick work of the ball and chain guard. Fire Rod gets that big key, gets the chest in here, which is a fighter sword. All right.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to complain about having a sword this early.
No, definitely not. They can use that for the rest of the escape. They don't have to worry about conserving magic for the final enemy they have to kill in this escape sequence. I like to call it the final boss of the escape sequence because it's the last one you have to kill. It has a key. It can be kind of tough to lock down if you have like a bomb start or something, but thankfully with Fire Rod and the sword we have, it's not going to be much of an issue.
Yep, no worrying about having to restart, just in case we run out of magic. In this case, we're going to have that sword to finish him off.
But anyway, as we are kind of going through the rest of the escape here, there's going to be one more chest we'll get along the way, and then we'll, of course, reach that bomb wall with the remaining 3 items that are in this section. Just going to very briefly highlight the road that these runners took to get through this particular tournament. As we mentioned before, this tournament started with over 500 participants. I had a Swiss stage before this. Christos did not actually participate in the Swiss stage, being a pre-qualifier from the fall tournament of last year. Andy did have to go through Swiss, actually emerged from the stage with an undefeated 7-0 record, and had to take down some very, very tough opponents to get to this point. Adirondack Rick, Sonicam, Filane, Zero Rush, Coin TV, and our 4th place finisher in this tournament, Pink Kitty Rose. A lot of those games actually went to Game 3. One of the games actually going to a Game 4 due to a tournament-regulated tie. And then ChristosOwen, as we said, he pre-qualified from the last tournament. Then he started in brackets, took down Ganon's Gone Wild, Chisame, Justin Z, Faraimi, Kyong92, and Hippos, and has only had one loss in this tournament so far against Kyong92, and that was a very close series as it was. Almost took a second loss in that series, so has stayed pretty strong throughout this entire road, even though Andy has had a slightly longer journey to get here. But we have some more items. We have the hammer. We have 2 heart pieces in the back of Escape. Not a bad find.
Yeah, not at all. Kind of that whole idea that if there's a major item back there and you don't get a bomb, it can be devastating. And especially something as important as the hammer, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hammer is one of the items we will need for our Dark World access. There are a couple of items you could potentially need. The Power Glove, the Moon Pearl, and either the hammer or the Titan's Mitt to actually get to the Dark World. And the Dark World's kind of the second stage of the game. There's a lot harder enemies, there's more dungeons in there. So yeah, you have to get to there at some point, and it's good to kind of find those items early before you get to that point.
There's a map check. I believe I saw we had Crystal 1 Eastern, 4 was Hera, and Crystal number 6 was Desert.
Yep, we have an all crystal light world. And what that actually means is that in order to defeat Ganon in these particular randomizer seeds, we need to get all 7 crystals. Getting all 7 crystals will give us access to Ganon's tower. We defeat Aghanim at the top of the tower, and that will take us to Ganon. So there are some dungeons that will be called pendant dungeons. Those are not necessarily required unless they have items in those dungeons, or if the pendants will ultimately lead to any items we need to complete a seed.
Yeah, and got a nice bottle find there at the mushroom location. Gonna have that to check Sick Kid now.
Mm-hmm. And just an arrow capacity upgrade in here in the forest hideout. So nothing value there, but that bottle will be nice, and it's full of blue potions, so that's just going to be a nice little safety item they'll have on standby too.
Yeah, definitely. And something to note when we were going over that chest in Sanctuary held 3 bombs, and it was probably one of the best things you could actually find there, because now you have all your bombs for Kakariko Village.
That's right. You'll see a lot of our runners go to Kakariko immediately when they start their runs, because there are a lot of chests here. 2 locations that have 5 chests as it is, so a very heavily stocked location where you can find a lot of progression items.
So far, we got 10 arrows, 50 rupees, the red boomerang, and 20 rupees.
And in the back where we needed that bomb, we have some more bombs, so not too bad. More bombs we can use in the light world.
And I think if they get one more bomb drop out of Kakariko, they may not need to buy any bombs at all at that point.
Yeah, not really. There's a lot of places where you can find bombs, just kind of in the overworld and, you know, in some certain locations and houses and dungeons and stuff. So once you kind of have a good threshold for the light world, you should be good for the rest of the seed.
Just some rupees so far here in their well. We got a heart container, a heart piece, and another heart container.
This is definitely a very healthy seed so far.
And the bottle merchant being a ripoff today.
Well, at least he gave back 20 rupees as opposed to like just a green single 1 rupee or something.
I mean, there's always ore for that, but we got the cane of Burna sitting there in the chicken hut.
Not really a progression item, but it can be helpful. It will definitely help for logic for Spike Cave whenever we get to that, unless we find some other items. So, not a terrible find.
And the sick kid giving his life savings away. Maybe you should have saved that to go to the doctor.
Yeah, probably. That would have probably been a better idea. But, you know, he knows we're trying to save Hyrule, so he thinks he's going to go to the greater good. Andy's actually opting to go purchase some bombs here. Meanwhile, Christos is continuing on checking out what's on the library. The Moon Pearl. Ooh, we're going to need to find those boots.
Yep, we're going to have some early boots.
And, ooh, the lantern on the race game, too.
Yep, definitely going to pick that up. We'll see if Andy, yep, he's going to check it as well.
Now, while the lantern will generally be logically required, it's technically not going to be required of these runners because they have the fire rod already. But it'll definitely help getting through some rooms in like the dark world and just, you know, just dark rooms in general. So it's definitely a good pickup right now.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a small possibility, and we'll see if it happens or not, because we don't know where the boots are as of right now. Potentially, the boots could be on something like the pyramid.
Right.
So the lamp might be needed to go through Ega 1 still.
It is possible to do without the lamp, but that is not an area I want to go through in the dark, personally, so I would have definitely picked those up, so good on both of them for picking that up.
Yeah, Ega Tower, definitely something you can do in the dark. I don't think there's many runners, if any at all, that would choose to do that in the dark, though.
Yeah, it can just waste a lot of time, and that's not what you want to be wasting on a game like this, that's for sure. But we did find some cold hard cash in here in the dam, and that's going to give us enough rupees for Zora, and with flippers, that's probably going to be one of our next locations we'll aim for as Christos goes over here for the mini Moldorm Cave.
Yeah, I definitely see Mini Moldorm Cave. Gonna check stun prize there. Just got a single rupee.
Yeah, it's not just chest items and items like in the overworld and stuff. Small things such as like stun prizes, tree poles, bush crab drops. Those are randomized as well from seed to seed, and you can find some really helpful items like rupees or even bombs from those.
Oh, Crystal's got to be careful down to 1 heart there. Some more bombs and arrow capacity upgrade, the bow and the ice rod.
Ooh, wow. And he is saving and quitting. He might be aiming for Eastern Palace now with that bow find.
I mean, I don't blame him whatsoever. It is a crystal, and you can clear it at this point. It's fully within logic. You already have the lamp.
Oh, definitely. I think it would be a very strong, aggressive play right now, and that's exactly what he's looking at. So, meanwhile, though, Andy going to be doing a slight divergence here. He's going to continue on to Ice Rod Cave and maybe check out the Zora items first. Another understandable play because you could find something that might speed this up a little bit, like those boots that we're still kind of looking for right now.
Yeah, that's kind of the interesting thing. Knowing that the pearl's on the library, I would think it'd be a little difficult to try to skip these one-off locations because the boots have to be somewhere, hopefully nearby. But there's a flute.
Yeah, Christos found the flute. That'll actually help him kind of get back to that area a little faster if the boots do end up being here. I can.
So just $50 there in Ice Rod Cave, though, and Andy's going to save and quit. So it looks like he's going to make the play over to Eastern himself.
Yeah, as mentioned, like we do have. Oh, well, okay, no, actually, Andy is going to check the floating island first. Might also just opt to get all of the Zora items as well. Got a piece of heart on Lake Hylia Island. Can't get that yet, but that is there if he does think he needs help in the future.
Yep, and made a liar out of me. He's checking the water areas instead.
Yeah, I guess it would be just slightly faster to start from Link's house there, so I can understand that.
Alright, first chest in Eastern we had the map, and our hobo is going to have a quiver upgrade. So
as far as item randomization for dungeons, in this particular mode, dungeon items will still be in the dungeon. So you'll find the map, the compass, the big key, and any small keys if there are any. So those will also be kind of shuffled in the pool of items, but you can only find them in the dungeon. So for the case of Eastern Palace, we know we're going to find a big key, a map, and a compass, and then 3 extra items. So one thing you can kind of do is while you're going through the dungeons, kind of keep track of the items you found, and once you kind of have all of the unique items, and if you kind of figure out where all the dungeon items are going to be, you can actually skip a lot of other particular items and just go straight for the boss once you have everything.
Yeah, and Waterfall of Wishing, we're getting all the rupees already so far. Another 300 drop there.
Wow, yeah, getting all those 300 drops immediately. Christos finding the big key is going to be able to open the big chest in this next room immediately.
And I'm not sure if you saw what's on Zoral Edge, but we got a Hookshot.
Ooh, that is a very, very nice item to find. Just a piece of heart for the second item in Eastern Palace.
So 1 item left here. We'll see if Eastern pays off other than getting that crystal. Zora has a love lesson.
Love lesson, but I think Andy is a little more interested in that hook shot that's over here, so he is going to be going over to pick that up. And, you know, while that is a good item to get, can't actually use that hook shot right now, because he still needs to get that flute or Death Mountain access in general before that'll come into play.
Yeah, I think that's going to be his next play at this point, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And the last chest in Eastern is the compass, which means the final item in Eastern Palace is going to be on the Armos Knights.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about the hookshot too, not only does it give us access to East Death Mountain with the flute, but with the hammer as well, we've got access to Hera.
That's right, and that's another crystal dungeon, so it would definitely be something to consider. Okay, let's see how Christos's no major glitches strats are going to be here. Going to be fighting the Armos Knights. Pretty vanilla setup as you normally would have at this point in the vanilla speedrun, and it looks really, really solid right now.
Yep, very quick kill. I don't think you get much quicker than that, and Armos just having the 20 rupees and our first crystal of the match.
So yeah, there wasn't really any progression in Eastern Palace, but we do need all those 7 crystals, so this was definitely something he had to do at some point. And, you know, it was a logical play to come over here. He got the flute from Sashrala. Dungeon was right there. May as well take care of it. So overall, I'd say it was just a net gain of the flute.
Yeah, which more than likely going to need the flute. We'll see. I guess we do have 3 crystal or 3 pendants in the Dark World still, so we'll see if Misery Mire is necessary or not. But Crystal's going to activate his flute, and we'll see where he heads after this.
Yeah, at this point, his only options are go up to Death Mountain or go to the Zora area and kind of take care of that stuff. At this point, we know the Zora area is the play, because that will ultimately lead to more items on Death Mountain. But again, we'll see what Christos does here.
Yep, looks like he's going to actually just skip Ice Rod Cave as well, it looks like.
Yeah, we know that's not going to be required, what's in there, but, you know, he does not know that. That's going to be a location that could be on his mind for a good part of the seed. He may end up checking it later. We'll just have to wait and see.
He's also skipping Hobo as well from the looks of it too.
Mm.
So, which we know nothing major's there either, so it's going to pay off for him if he never goes and checks it. But those one-off locations are going to be in the back of his mind until he's in go mode.
Yeah, and especially if, like, you know, those other items like the gloves or mitts don't show up. Like, you know, they could be just thinking like, oh, maybe that was in one of these one-offs, and you have to check each of those one by one, and it can be a very tedious process.
Yeah, very tedious, and the most important, the time that you have to put into it as well. When you're racing when you're racing and you're thinking about this in the back of your mind, if you're Andy or Christos, who you're racing, and you know if you do make mistakes, they have to be very minor mistakes at that, and even then, you know, that could be all it needs is that one minor mistake.
Exactly. Could not agree with you more.
But Christos gets his hook shot. You have to imagine he's going to head up to Death Mountain now after this.
Yeah, that would be my guess at this point. Andy is going to get ready for his Armos Night fight here in just a moment.
Okay, maybe Christos is going back for a Hobo, it looks like.
Yep, and probably check out the island too, just in case. Man, I could not tell the difference between Andy and Christos' fight. It looked practically the same.
Yeah, they look like mirror images of each other.
I think maybe Andy KO'd the one on the left like last, and Christos KO'd the one on the right last. But yeah, seriously, it was like that identical.
Yep, and Andy with the flute unactivated, he's going to be heading to Kakariko. Christos here going to use the flute, and he's going to head up to Death Mountain.
Yes, he is. So he basically... Oh, no, he's going to head up to Ice Rod Cave. So it's going to be really close. Like, they're going to have the same things done at around the same time. Christos just a small bit ahead, as Andy will probably be listening to the flute song while Christos leaves Ice Rod Cave. But... yeah, really, really close so far.
Yeah, incredibly close.
Yeah, the difference is pretty much the distance that Andy had to walk to Ice Rod Cave. That's really about it.
Oh, Christos actually going to check Desert Ledge and Agina's Cave first, it looks like.
Okay, just trying to take care of these one-off locations, so I can respect that play. Andy, meanwhile, is going straight for the top of the mountain, though, so he is going to be taking a slight edge, but again, Christos could find something here that might be even greater importance, so we'll see.
Just a bomb upgrade in Agina's Cave, though, so this one-off location's not paying off.
It is definitely nice to have that flute, though, to take care of those, because it's annoying when you have to walk all the way there to those locations. So while Christos goes to rescue the old man, which Andy just took back and got a red rupee for his trouble, Andy is going to be marching up the mountain to see what we have on Spectacle Rock, and then going to be taking a little bit of a loop around, go to the east side of Death Mountain, and then probably coming back around for Tower of Hera next.
Got the Uncle Bombs on the top of Spectacle Rock there, and just a piece of heart inside.
Yeah, we call them the Uncle Bombs because that is actually the 10 bomb drop you will get from the Uncle if you get a bomb escape, so that's what we call those.
So we have a little bit of a lull while we go to get these items. Just kind of the major thing to note of this race right now. We had an early hammer in the escape. We started with the fire rod. Hookshot was on Zora Ledge, but we're looking for some boots because we've got a Moon Pearl on Library Ledge.
That's right, and that's, one of the components we need for that Dark World access. Still also looking for a glove upgrade as well, so there are definitely some things to find, as we do find that glove upgrade here in Paradox Cave.
Yep, there's our gloves. So we are now technically just boots away from Dark World.
You gotta imagine those boots have gotta be here somewhere, or they could be on that pyramid ledge as you spoke about earlier, but we still need another sword and cape for that. But there is that Master Sword, so...
Yep, there's the sword. And we also got the Cane of Samaria in here, so...
Mm-hmm. Not sure if that's going to be required just yet, but, could be required if Turtle Rock or Misery Mire is a crystal. Could also be required if the big key in Ganon's Tower is on the right side. We'll have to see. There's an ether medallion up there on that lonely island.
Well, we'll see if that's going to be needed.
Now, one thing to note, Christos did get a little bit of time back because he did opt to not go to Spectacle Rock before going to East Side, so he's only just a room behind Andy right now.
But we got the key there. Probably hoping to see the big key in the next chest, so hopefully we don't have to go to the basement, but we'll see.
We're going to the basement, like a lot.
Yep, to the basement and everybody's favorite tile room. Well, second favorite tile room.
Yeah, so Tower of Hera has 2 unique items in here, and then 4 dungeon items. Unfortunately, we do need the big key to progress any further up the tower, and since the first 2 items were the small key and a map, we have to go to the basement, which lies beyond this very, very slow tile room. Most runners will opt to kind of rest on these pegs, not get affected by the tiles, or in this case, Christos is going to get hit by a few tiles, just so he can get a nice death warp planned after he gets the big key. And, yeah, that's pretty much what we have right now.
And we'll see if Andy decides to take some damage as well. Nope, he's not going to take any more.
Well, we have some nice red Stalfos in these rooms to help us achieve that death warp anyway.
So both runners taking the death warp to get back to the front of the tower, and we're going to head up Tower of Hera.
I do want to take this time to definitely applaud the sprite development for the randomizer. Both of our runners, as you can see, are not using the traditional Link sprite. Andy using a Pug sprite to represent his Pug Farm viewers, and ChristosOwen being Roy Koopa from the Mario series. A lot of very unique sprites have been made for the randomizer, a lot of video game references, and some other funny things as well, as we do find the boots here in Tower of Hera.
Yep, so I believe with that, Ega 1 is officially dead.
Yes, it looks that way, although we have not seen the Lumberjack tree, have we?
Actually, that's right, nobody did check Lumberjack, so we'll have to wait for that.
Yeah, there could be an item on there, and, they may actually end up checking that after they finish up Tower of Hera here, because then they can start a Sanctuary, check those Bonk Rocks, and then kind of head over in that area.
Getting some hammer strats on Troll Dorm, who's just going to have that compass.
And they both make it through Troll Dorm, and they both get their second crystal. Only 5 more to go.
Yep, 2 crystals. We're not even at a half an hour in yet.
Speaks volumes for these runners, that's for sure. But sometimes the seed just kind of gives you like all the items you need to complete dungeons. It's been a pretty linear seed so far, so you know it's definitely been made to be pretty fast seed so far.
Yeah, so I wonder, so Andy's coming back here, and he's going to be checking Spiral Cave. Christos decided to drop down because he hadn't checked Spectacle Rock yet. He might be skipping Spiral Cave for right now.
And, you know, that's kind of good that he is, because it is just a bomb capacity upgrade. Christos is fluting right to Kakariko. He is going to grab that Moon Pearl and possibly consider going straight to Dark World.
Yeah, more than likely, because we really, I mean, other than Boots Lock locations, that's all we have available right now.
Yeah, and Christos probably thinks he can check those at any point he decides to save and quit, so I can see him definitely going straight to Dark World here.
Just a piece of heart and the Bonk Rocks, and we'll see if Andy decides to take a look at Lumberjack Ledge. Looks like he's going to.
Yep, he's heading north, so we'll see if this is going to be Aga required or not. This is the one instance where it might be, but we don't know yet. Nope, that's just a red rupee.
Just a big 20.
So we do get a map check here. We have pendants at Skullwoods and Thieves Town, green pendant at the Palace of Darkness, and another red crystal at Swamp Palace.
I think that might be one of the worst feelings you have going into Dark World with the items you have. It's like, here's Skullwoods and Thieves Town, and they're both pendants.
Yeah. And then you have Palace of Darkness, which is a dungeon that has a lot of items, that also being a pendant dungeon. And generally when you have pendant dungeons, you want to skip them. You don't want to go in there if you don't have to, but a lot of items, there could very well be an item in there.
Yeah, especially with the early bow and everything like that, it's fully within logic, but we're going to get a little bit of a difference in the routes here. Annie's going to head, looks like, to Hype Cave. Crystal's checking at least the first 4 of Thieves Town.
You know, we'll have to see if he decides to go any further. You get in the Hype Cave.
Alright, well, so we got a cape there. So we got a bottle of green goo, shovel, and bug net were the major items there. So can't give a definitive hype on Hype Cave yet, because who knows what's hiding underneath the gravel in the grove. So yeah, Crystal's just checking the front 4. He's leaving Thieves Town. Stumpy's just got some bombs for us. And Andy about to do the digging game here.
Ooh.
For the mirror, that was probably one of the best things you could find other than the Titan's mitts right there.
Yeah, for sure. That mirror is going to allow him to actually go right back to the Haunted Grove and mirror to the Light World, use that shovel he just obtained, and get an item as well as this cave down here as well.
Yeah, I think the most important part, not just being able to check these items, had he not found those, his options probably at that point were either to save and quit or head to Palace of Darkness area at that point.
So yeah, definitely a really good find by Andy there.
Okay, so just a big 20 there. So yeah, Hype Cave's no hype today. Oh, that I did forget about that actually, though, until just now. That mirror opens up Swamp Palace.
It does, and both runners have the items to take that dip in the Swamp Palace. There are definitely some advantages, though. I mean, it is a dungeon that's not only like one of the 5 and 6 crystals, but it's also, aside from Ganon's Tower, it has the most unique items you can find. Sometimes you could spend a lot of time there and end up finding nothing, but at this point in the seed, if it's pointing you there, there could very well be like Titansmiths or something on them.
Yeah, I mean, as far as what we're looking for to complete the game at this point, at least one medallion, which we know the location of one of them. We've got the ether medallion, which we can't get to just yet. Still need the mitts, but we need the mitts, potentially some medallions. I think that's actually it at this point.
Yeah, that's the way it's looking. The seed was definitely very, very generous at the beginning, and like we mentioned, very linear at the start, so we were getting item after item pretty frequently. So yeah, really just those 2 items are, again, possible items, depending on what those medallions are, so we're in pretty good shape right now.
And this is kind of going to go show what routing can do, because if you look at the routes of the 2 different runners going in the Dark World, Christos starting in the Village of Outcasts with his routing, he's going to be able to finish Swamp here, and he could pick up the big bomb after. Or no, he can't. We need Desert. Never mind.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought Hera was the 6.
It's okay. It happens. But yeah, I mean, honestly, both runners have been routing this both pretty well. As you can see, the lead's been kind of like shifting, like back and forth, with just like one runner being like, you know, a room or 2 ahead of the other one. Then just a slight difference in how they decide to approach their next move has led to the other runner kind of getting an advantage in the other direction. So it's been very, very back and forth, as we do find the mitts here in Swamp Palace.
Yep, there are the mitts. So it makes you wonder what they'll do with those mitts after this, because, you know, I wouldn't blame either one of them for heading to the mire area, checking to see the medallion there, especially if you see it's ether, and then heading right to Dark Death Mountain, seeing what Turtle Rock is.
Yeah, because, you know, we talked about it. If Dark Death Mountain, or if Turtle Rock is also ether, that's potential go mode right there.
Yeah, if they're both ether, it's go mode now.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a Tempered Sword to make this even faster, so that's another good item to get.
Especially right before Argus. Because now you don't have to either do menu strats to switch to the hammer, or double slashes or spins to get those puffs.
Yeah, for sure. Tempered Sword is a real boss killer, and Argus is definitely one of the best examples of that. Getting rid of those puffs that surround his body just, you know, takes a lot less time with Tempered Sword, and it's going to be a much faster fight because of that. So, going to be making some really good time here. Oh, and that was a beautiful one. Is that a 1 cycle or 0 cycle? I don't even know.
That, I mean, yeah, I guess with 0 cycle, he never got his ability off, so.
Yeah.
And then the very quick kill with silver arrows.
Man, this seed wants our runners to hit go mode fast.
Yeah, with how it's giving them items, I would not be surprised at this point if both Meyer and... Oh no, Christos taking a death, though.
Oh no. And he does not have a fairy, so that he is going to have to start from the beginning of Swamp Palace. But Andy is going to go back in. There are some items on the left side, and there's also the big chest. He doesn't have all the items just yet. You know, just want to make sure that he's not taking any needless gambles. If there's like a medallion in here that might be needed, don't want to miss out on that. So going back in to just very quickly check these last few chests before heading out.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's gonna, make Christos make some different decisions here, like potentially skipping any of the items, here in Swamp if there's any left.
Yeah, it looks like that red rupee might have been the last one because Andy mirrored out right after getting that. But as we suggested, Andy going straight to the mire area, gonna see what this medallion is. If it's Ether, then I imagine we're gonna see Dark Death Mountain immediately. But it is Quake, so Ether is not gonna be our go mode. Maybe.
Yep. So at least looking for a Quake medallion right now.
Which could be here for all we know. Oh, wow.
There's one of them though.
My heart. Get the Bombos medallion. That's gonna be very helpful for Ice Palace.
Yeah, I'll say my heart went there for a second too. I was like, oh, it's a medallion. I was like, oh, never mind. Just Bombos.
That could be the medallion required for Turtle Rock. We still do not have that information yet.
This is true, and we still have this checkerboard cave, but just a quiver upgrade.
And Christos does take down Argus in his rematch here, so gonna get his silver arrows, and he is gonna see what he's gonna do after that unfortunate death there.
I think he might be doing the same thing Andy does. Check the mire area, because you can clear desert. And desert's out of their 5-6, so then you could do the big bomb and head into the pod area if you really want to.
That's true, yeah. But yeah, chat pointing out that at this point we are looking for just Quake for go mode because, we don't know if that Ether medallion is going to be required, but we know where that is, so they can kind of build their run around that knowledge if Turtle Rock does happen to be Ether.
And honestly, I think the best thing for them to see is actually Quake, because then they know they don't have to go looking in Misery Mire or Turtle Rock for any items. It has to be somewhere already.
Yeah, exactly. They can just, have that knowledge. Okay, well, if it is Ether, I know where that is. It's right next door, so we can just very quickly go over there and grab that.
We are not sure what the Turtle Rock medallion is just yet. They just got the myths in Swamp Palace and have not been to Dark Death Mountain just yet.
And Christos actually heading up to Death Mountain, so he might be wanting to get these checks done now.
Yeah, I mean, it's that whole idea that, in the randomizer, the saying knowledge is power is very true here. Just having the knowledge, what you need to get into these dungeons, what you need to complete the game. So the moment you find it, you're done.
Exactly. And one thing we could see from Andy here is, he still has to complete Ice Palace and, obviously Misery Mire, but that's not relevant right now because we don't have Quake. If Christos goes up here, sees that Turtle Rock requires Bombos, he could go inside, could possibly find Quake in there, and he'll be in go mode, and he can just very quickly get done Desert, Ice, and finish up the rest of Turtle Rock without having to look for anything else.
Yeah, it's very possible.
And again, after that unfortunate death that he took from Argus, could be thinking that he needs a play like this to kind of ease things up and kind of catch back some time that he may have lost from that.
And it is Bombos.
Oh, wow. Here we go.
The Turtle Rock play.
That's right, Turtle Rock play incoming, but Andy deciding to make the very same play, though.
Yeah, I have to imagine when Andy sees its Bombos, he's going to be doing the exact same thing and diving into Turtle Rock himself. Because if I'm not mistaken, if you have to pick, Andy's either going to have to pick going into a pen dungeon into Turtle Rock or Ice Palace. And I'm pretty sure I've heard this multiple times, but as far as I'm aware, Andy hates Ice Palace.
I mean, not many people like Ice Palace, to be fair, and it's understandable. Slippery dungeon can take a long time to look for items, depending on the key layouts. It's not a fun dungeon to go through. Anyway, Andy's going to get that information right now. He sees it's Bombos. He knows that's there. I think he's going to check Hookshot Cave first, though.
Yeah, which I don't believe Christos did, because... Or did he come in here first?
I think he did come in here first.
No, he did not.
He did not. Yeah, because there's Blue now, so yeah, he did not come in here.
And nothing major in Hookshot Cave. The blue mail would be nice, but both the runners being very experienced in NMG, they don't need blue mail.
Yeah, for sure.
But having it against those chain chomps, you're not going to say no to, because they deal those big 4 hearts of damage getting chomped by one.
Yeah, it's interesting that a Mario enemy does one of the most damage values in this Zelda game, but it is what it is. Special cameos get special treatment, I guess.
I mean, at least it's not Mario rules and they just one-shot you.
That's true. That's very true. Okay, so Andy takes his first steps into Turtle Rock. Christos, about halfway through, going to be heading towards the Mimic Cave area and the big chest next. Getting all the treasures in between.
I've still got quite a few items left here in Turtle Rock. Plus, we got Mimic Cave that we're going to see in just a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, chat pointing out that, all things considered, even with that death, there is really not a lot of difference between our two runners. Desert Palace is a very quick dungeon to clear, especially in go mode. So if we do get that quake medallion here, you got to imagine that the runners are going to be pretty close to even at that point. So it's, still anyone's game at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not as well, there are checks that, Andy's has done that Christos hasn't. Main ones kind of being Hype Cave and Shovel Spot, but Christos has checked Village of Outcasts, where Andy has not checked anything in that area at all.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, next checks for Christos here. Just a small key. That is the last small key for this dungeon. Now we have Laser Bridge, 4 chests on there, and then try next for the final item.
So if Quake is not here in Turtle Rock, where do you think it is?
That's a good question. I mean, even though, not many people like it, I would honestly consider, Ice Palace. It's a place people don't really want to check. If it's here, that could be a huge advantage if it is there. So, that would be a good chance, and it's all... or it could be right there.
Yep, we can stop that thought process. There's Quake. ChristosOwen is in go mode.
He is, and Andy is not too far behind either.
So not even 50 minutes into the seed, we're in go mode.
And, you know, we have some very quick dungeons. Christos has to go back and do a very quick Desert Palace. Ice Palace, very fast doing go mode. Misery Mire, depends on big key placement, but can also be pretty fast. So yeah, this is going to be straight execution from here on in.
Yeah, really the only thing that can do it as far as routing is potentially Ganon's tower.
Mm-hmm.
Gets the very quick kill on Trinex.
Yeah, very, very nicely done.
And we'll say this while Christos is holding that crystal up. How many times have you had a seed where you don't see Hype Cave?
Not many, at least as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, very, very nicely done and very nicely routed by Christos. And again, same to Andy. Took a slightly different path, but you know, you could almost say the same thing. How many times have you seen a seed that hasn't checked Village of Outcasts?
Yeah, true. So Crystal's going to be heading to Ice Palace here. Should be a very, very quick dungeon clear.
And after he does that, like, he'll be heading to the Mire and Desert area, which is literally just a mirror away from Mire to Desert. So, you know, going to be able to take both of those on at the same time. That should be pretty quick for him. So yeah, we're just going to be watching straight execution from here on out. And one thing that I will be teasing very quick as we're watching this battle of execution is at the very end of this match, we will have some information in regards to the next Link to the Past randomizer tournaments. Not the speed gaming one that's going on right now for the summer, not the overworld glitches, but the next fall tournament. So stay tuned to the end of the match if you want some more information on that. Anyway, let's see how Andy's battle against Trinex goes.
Their boss fights have been pretty much identical so far.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Anyway, Christos doing the Ice Palace bomb jump. This is what makes Ice Palace such a breeze to go through in Go mode, because you can skip this really annoying crystal puzzle that in the vanilla version has you going almost a giant loop around on the bottom floors of the dungeon. But with that bomb jump, you can skip a huge part of that and go straight to the boss if you have all the items you need, which at this point we do.
Yep, and got the 5 hearts. He's going to be off to, going to pick that heart up now. 6 hearts, off to Cold Star, just a few more rooms. And Andy's going to head to the Mire area.
And from watching Andy, we'll have an idea of how this Mire is structured out for Christos when he comes through here. And we'll have a pretty good idea of what kind of the big difference will be when they kind of both get those 7 crystals. Beautiful cold stare fight for Christos.
Yep, I don't think it gets any better than that.
I would be surprised if it did, honestly.
But that is going to be crystal number 5 for Christos. He's just got Desert and Mire Andy's got to finish Mire and Ice Palace.
Mm-hmm. You gotta think at this point, it's the difference between, you know, Go Mode Ice Palace and Go Mode Desert for these two runners. Maybe Andy just a slight bit ahead because he's already started on Mire, but still, like, Desert and Ice will be very quick clears for both of them.
Oh, we get the God Mire though.
Ooh. Yeah, this is definitely a God Mire. Going to be able to go straight to Vitreous. Looks like Christos is going to be taking on Desert Palace first, though. Doesn't really matter which one you take care of, because, again, you're just a mirror portal away, so going to be going over here to take on Desert first.
So yeah, this is going to be an extremely close race because probably going to see boss fights. And he's going to be done with Vitreous probably about the time Christos is getting into Landmola's fight.
Yeah, around then. So yeah, basically, Go Mode Godmire versus Go Mode Ice Palace is the difference here. Maybe with a Lamno fight on Christos' end as well.
Yeah, with Silver Arrows, Vitreous here is going to pose no threat.
Yeah, not at all. There's a reason why the Silver Arrows are locked behind Vitreous in the vanilla game. He is so dang weak to them.
Those statues there giving Christos a bit of a hard time. Andy has crystal number 6. He's going to head off to Ice Palace.
Christos entering the Lamnolas fight now. Going to be using silver arrows, 1 silver arrow for each head. Looks like his inputs got away from him there. Going to be a 2-cycle Lamno, but still pretty good. And that is his 6th crystal now.
So, question in chat, what's faster, Godmire or Ice Palace? I would say probably Ice Palace in this case. There's really not much to it if you're doing Go Mode Ice Palace.
Yeah. And especially just in terms of mindset, because at this point, Christos does not know where that big key is going to be. So, you know, just even kind of entering the dungeon under a different mindset could definitely lead to a world of, like, just, you know, slightly different execution and whatnot.
Christos through the second room here. He's got a few rooms until he gets his big key. And Andy's about 3 or 4 rooms away from Cold Stare.
Yeah, he had a very well executed bomb jump. Didn't take as many times as it did Christos, so he is going to gain a little bit of time there. And yeah, he's just a couple of drops away from Cold Stare now, so he is getting there. And he definitely has the lead, I'd say, albeit a short one. It's not a huge lead. A difference in Ganon tower routing could make a huge difference for this race.
Andy heads down to the Cold Stare fight. Almost looked like the puffballs were going to get away from him, but they stayed close enough to each other where he could finish him off.
There we go. That is Andy's 7th crystal. And because of that, there is a little game we like to play. As you can see, there's a lot of numbers going on in chat right now. We are going to guess what numbered location we think that big key in Ganon Tower is going to be. 1 through 22, going to be in any of those locations. Where do you think that big key is going to be hiding?
I'm going to say it's going to be in chest number 1.
I'm going to go with chest number 8.
Oh, Andy getting dead rocked there. Crystal's going for some spin stress there on Vitreous, and then finishes him off with silver arrows. And that is crystal number 7 for ChristosOwen.
So yeah, there's like less than a minute difference between these two runners right now. It is honestly that close. As we mentioned, difference in Ganon's Tower routing could be a huge determining factor for this race.
Yeah, it's pretty much just the Death Mountain climb, or half a Death Mountain climb, because Andy's still not at Ganon's Tower, so...
Yeah, and this brings back memories of just the race at Awesome Games Done Quick this year. Literally, at the very end of the race, they were both kind of at the top of Death Mountain, Dark Death Mountain, heading into Ganon's Tower. So these runners are definitely very well known for finishing very similarly in a lot of these races.
Alright, so Andy entering the tower at 102.22. We'll see how far behind Christos is.
As we start checking out the chests here in Ganon's Tower, get a small key, 2 small keys in the Hope Room. Looks like he is going to go to the right side. So if Christos goes straight left at the very beginning, this could be a huge, huge turning point. Also, this is going to be close. I think he... Oh, he got it.
Yeah, barely got that one. So Christos enters at 103.13, so he's about 51 seconds behind right now.
Yep, less than a minute. As we saw, Christos going to start out going to the right. But will he go full right, or will he go to the left after this? He is continuing.
So far, 6 chests, no big key. Got chest 7, or location 7 here.
Whoa. We have a
Christos...
tile room gamble.
Oh. If the big key is in here...
If it's in here, it's a huge, huge turnaround. This is a location that you will often see checked last just because of how long it takes to get through this room.
Chest 8, we got the 20 rupees, bomb upgrade in 9. Nope, there it is. Chest number 10.
There it is. With just the mushroom inside tile room. But you know, I can fully understand Chris's thinking right there, just because, you know, he knows the way Andy routes. He's raced against Andy numerous times in tournament and out of tournament. He knows what Andy's capable of. He knew that he needed the gamble right there, and he probably figured that the distance that he was behind was probably the distance it actually is. So he wanted to make that gamble just in case he could have turned us around.
Yeah, and more than likely that was coming from that Argus death, just knowing that small mistake that he made changed the decision on how he was going to route things. It's like, what do I need to do to make up time? And that was the decision right there.
Yeah, that's a case where I can completely understand that gamble there. Ooh, and looks like he is actually going to continue going to the right. Going to be skipping out, unfortunately, where the big key is going to end up being.
Yep, so we're going to get a full kill on the Armos again here, the Ice Armos. And he makes it through the gauntlet. He's on the Landmolus refight. And 3 silver arrows, and down they go.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same exact fight with the added addition of that annoying fire spitter in the corner there. Use basically the same strats to get rid of them.
So yeah, Chet's just talking about Christos' gamble going into the tile room and immediately checking it. It was not a bad play at all. The death that he took at Argus, the unfortunate death there, it made him think that he's behind. And at that point, if you think you're behind, especially when you're just doing a one-on-one race, you know you have to make decisions you normally wouldn't make, or that your opponent wouldn't make, to try to make some time up. And with the way they found items, that, you know, other than just going left side immediately, that was really his only option, was to check tile room.
Yeah, and another big thing, it's out of respect for his opponent, because he know. Also, nice try on the hover there, Andy. But it's out of respect for his opponent. He knows how his opponent routes. They've raced numerous times before. So based on the item placements, Christos more than likely fell behind, despite finding all those items quickly. So he had to make a play like that if he wanted to have any sort of contention, at least as far as his mind was concerned.
And he fails the hover the first time, kills Moldorm to the way it's intended, and off to Egatu now.
Okay, let's have a nice little geometry lesson here as we try to reflect all these blasts back at Aghanim.
Christos down to half a heart here.
I want to say we still have that bottle of blue potion from the very beginning, but he is going to go and get these fairies over here as Aghanim 2 goes down for Andy, and now just one fight separates Andy from winning this first game, and we have the Ganon fight.
Yep, and Christos actually used the blue potion. He ran out of magic on the conveyor belt room where he used the Cane of Samaria to get to the 4 chests. So he used the blue potion to get his magic back so he could do that.
Right.
And the NMG strat's coming. We should get the 1+1 here. Yep. Quickly to phase 2. off to phase 3. We got 3 more hits on Andy's side, and then 4 silver arrows to Ganon. There's the last hit. We did in fact find those silver arrows.
Yes, we did. Your boy Argus did not hide them very well.
Scanny having a little bit of trouble there getting the torches.
Still
a nice
gets a triple though. And there it is, the final hit on Ganon. As long as Andy does not get too close to the edge there, he should be fine, and he will be taking this game 1.
So Andy crosses into the Triforce room, and he is going to win the race 1 of the Grand Finals with an official Speed Racing TV time of 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 48 seconds.
Get your GGs in chat. Very well executed run by Andy. Went through the seed very, very fast, executed very, very well, and he's going to take that game 1. And, game 2, not too far away. I'm going to be seeing that later tonight at, I believe, 6 p.m. EDT. So if you want to come back for that race, definitely do. I think we will have some time to interview both of our runners here. Gonna see what happens before. Yeah, I think we're just gonna wait till Christos finishes and get them both in at the same time. Okay, joining us in the race room right now, we have our winner for this race. GG, Andy, congratulations on your win. How are you feeling after that game 1?
I'm feeling pretty good. The seed was real generous early.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I should have done differently really was going into Turtle Rock before checking Darkhold Death Mountain, but other than that, everything went relatively smoothly.
I mean, at that point, it's hard to even, say that for 100%, because, I mean, you were still looking for that Quake medallion, and, even though Go mode, Turtle Rock, not very different from just going through Turtle Rock and looking for items, it still could have been there, so it could have given you, maybe a chance to skip Laser Bridge, for example, and get a few seconds. So it overall wasn't a bad check by any means.
Seeing Moon Pearl on Library was real nice. Although I was really worried about boots on Pyramid for a while with the lamp also being early.
Yeah, it was definitely looking like that. Yeah, that was definitely a possibility of what could have happened, and it was looking like it could have ended up that way, because I want to say Hera was one of the last things we could see at that point, because we had Master Sword, we had Lamp, so Aghanim was definitely in the logic.
Yeah, it was Hera, Spiral Cave, and Agna for me, I think, is all I had left.
So we know that you and Christos definitely have a very fun and huge rivalry when it comes to Randomizer and all the matches you've done. You've raced at AGDQ. You were in the finals for the Key Sanity tournaments. How at any point, you got to feel that he's going to be right on your heels at any point, and especially in this run that was so quick and had just like very minor optimizations here and there that both of you could have benefited from.
Yeah, I never expect our races to be super lopsided.
Mm-hmm.
I know Chris is good, and we both like make similar plays for the most part.
Yeah.
Even though he hates Swamp with a passion, I figured there was no way he was skipping Swamp with Mirror right there, and no mitts yet. So yeah, I don't expect to be too far ahead or behind him, regardless of how a seed goes.
Yeah, I know. I was even saying that, like, going back to that AGDQ run, I still remember watching that and just seeing both of you just climbing Dark Death Mountain at the same exact time, and that's pretty much the way it was this seed too. So it's like you guys always make it close, and it's always like really entertaining to watch. That's for sure. Anyway, we did get a finish from ChristosOwen. He is going to be taking, unfortunately, second place in this race, but he will have another chance to bring it back in Game 2 later tonight. His SRTV time is 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 9 seconds. Get your GGs in chat for him as well. And I think we're going to go ahead and bring him in as well. Hey, Christos. Welcome. Congratulations on finishing. GG. How are you feeling after that?
Good games, Andy.
GG.
Yeah, disappointed with how I played, obviously. But hopefully I'll play better later. I didn't deserve to win that, and I knew I must have been behind. I know how Andy plays. I knew he would have gone into the Dark World from the south. I went in from Village of Outcasts. And none of that came through for me. Nothing was there. And then Mirror on Digging Game was the worst possible thing for me because that opened up Swamp. And I knew Andy would have gone back to Swamp rather than go to Village of Outcasts. And then Mitt's in there, and then everything kind of just led to the next logical location. So after I died on Argus, I didn't get a chance with how the items were distributed to actually make any decisions to try and make up some time and gamble on things until GT. That was the only thing that I really could do, and I was like, I'm gonna have to go for it. Let's do Tarum.
If you had gone left, you might have made it a nail biter.
Yeah,
because I always go right against you.
Yeah, like I know that as well. Well, like I was like 80% sure you would go right, and I was like, even if he goes right, I'm going to be too far behind with an Argus death that going left immediately wouldn't help. So I 100% knew you would do Tarum first. So I was like, I can do that. That's in my control. Let's try. Because if I just played GT normally for me, it wouldn't have, I would have lost. It would have been closer, but I still would have lost.
My Ganon was also real bad.
Yeah, did you see mine?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I died.
Oh, that explains more than Tile Room. Yeah, you were
honestly
like...
everything from Tile Room onwards was absolute trash.
Dang.
I knew I'd lost, so I was kind of just giving up.
You were like 50 some seconds behind going into GT or something like that. It wasn't as bad as you'd think.
Yeah, well, that's it. The Argus death played too much of a mental game with me. Like, I skipped a few things to try and make up some time. Never went to Hype Cave after Swamp. Never went into Hookshot Cave before Turtle Rock. Like, minor things, but just with how you route, I knew it worked. Like, the seed worked perfectly for you.
I went back into Swamp to check Big Chest. But then Big Chest was an item, so I left.
Same, except
one
for
item on the left side.
And did it that way. But that's okay. That's actually convenient for me that you went back into Swamp. Why did you go back into Swamp? I guess you just didn't want to get burned if you didn't.
Yeah, with 2 items left, I'll always go back in. And then since I knew where Ether was, there was a chance that that was go mode or whatever. But I didn't want to risk leaving another medallion in there with 2 items left.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, I was just like, I am going straight to Maya, see what we got, straight to the rock, see what we got. I didn't do anything first. Didn't even do desert. I was like, nope, I just want to see what I need.
I was hoping you would go to Death Mountain first. Hoping like Turtle Rock was Ether or something like that.
Nah, you gotta do the Maya check
that's it.
first.
Yep. But
the light world was so stacked.
it was nuts.
I was an idiot and forgot that I could get to Death Mountain. So after I found Hookshot, that should have been where I went. But instead, I went to Ice Rod Cave. Then I went to Agony Cave. And then I was like, what do I do? Like, where do I go? On the way to Agony Cave, I was like, oh, I can do Death Mountain. Yeah.
Nice.
My brain wasn't switched on at the beginning for some reason.
Yeah, I did everything except for Agna. Like I did the whole South Loop and all the Zora stuff because I had like 1,000 rupees by the time I left Ice Rod Cave, and then did Sahashala Eastern and then Death Mountain. I ended up doing the Agna check after Desert though.
Okay. See, like, you know, in my head, I just figured I did so many things you wouldn't have done. So it's interesting that you did end up doing a bunch of these things as well. But like, I even considered just going left in GT immediately. I was just like, shall I? No. Let's do an even dumber gamble. But yeah, I still don't think it would have been enough.
And again, it's hard to say because again, just like about 50 seconds separated both of your entrances in the GT, so it would have been really, really close, closer than it already had been. And you know, even with that Argus death, like it was still very, very close. We had no idea who was going to get that 7th crystal first because it just looked like it could have gone either way at that point. So it was a really, really great performance from both of you. Definitely entertaining race to watch. Very quick race to watch too. I swear, I don't know how you guys keep getting seeds of this length of time, and I'm still struggling to beat the 150 barrier consistently.
Yeah, we were when we were scheduling stuff. Chris has a pretty busy day today, and I was like, "Don't worry, dude. We're gonna get a 110 in race 1. You're gonna be fine. You have plenty of time for lunch."
Yeah, should have listened to you. Yeah, I've got a Overworld Ditches match in an hour and a half, and then Andy again later.
That's right. We do have that game too later tonight at 6 p.m. EDT. So if you guys want to come back, and I'm talking to all Twitch chat here, anyone else watching, please do come back. It'll be an entertaining game too, and who knows, it may even go to game 3 because with how close this was, I would not be surprised, not in the least bit.
But seriously, who dies at Argus? I didn't even check my health. I had tempered. I was just like this, and then I'm dead all of a sudden. It happened so quick. I was like, what happened, dude?
Dude, that's what happened. So when I went right side in GT, in the room with like the 3 mummies and the switch, my fire rod went through the mummy that's like in your path, and so I took like 6.5 hearts of damage in that room. I was like, well, that's cool. I ended up using my blue potion in Cannonball Room, which I found out actually delays the cannonballs being shot and just screwed everything up.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah, it shot the first cannonball like an extra 2 tiles down, and I was like, well, let's dash here and see if it works, and I got hit twice and fell in the hole.
Oh god, I was in the Cannonball Z bridge with 2 hearts. I got hit by a thing and fell off and had half a heart. I was just like, oh.
Yeah,
So
I went in with 2, so I used the blue potion.
I used that in right side GT. I missed a Samaria thing to hit the switch and had no magic left, and I was just like, potion.
Yeah, with a half, I always do like the block torch first, and then I'll do the top torch and dash down and get the magic pot there.
But overall,
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was a proper quick seed. Nothing like my heart sank when I ended Dark World. Looked at the map and was like, "Yo, I can beat 3 dungeons and they're all
pendants." It was so bad. I was like, man, I hope it's not like which pendant am I going into to get the progression. And then Mirror was a big game, thankfully.
That's what I was like. I'll do Village of Outcasts, Dip Thieves, do to Hype Cave, and then I was definitely going into Pod after that. But then Mirror.
If I was a Crystal, I was gonna skip like left side South Dark World and just go straight to Pyramid and Pod, but nope.
being able to skip these down on the Village of Outcasts, so like it's such a nice feeling. I'm a little
Yeah.
jelly.
I don't even know when the last time that happened was, TBH.
I can't remember. I picked up the cape. But yeah, good game spot. Hopefully, I play a little better later, and it's
See you
a bit closer.
in 5.5 hours.
Nah.
Well, definitely good luck to both of you. Sir Linkla, anything you want to ask or add before we move on to the big announcement that we've been hyping up a little bit ago?
No, it's just a great race to commentate. Nice, quick race to start the finals off for us to get everybody hyped for game 1. And now we've got game 2 later today. So everybody gets to hold their breath for, like you said, 5.5 hours for more rando.
Right back on this channel.
Thanks, Andy.
Okay, so with that, did make a little announcement earlier in regards to the Fall 2018 Randomizer tournament for Link to the Past Randomizer. Been holding off on mentioning anything about it just yet. Wanted to get through this race, get that interview done and everything, and just kind of decompress from this seed. We do have some information regarding that. The official start date for the Fall Link to the Past Randomizer tournament will be October 1st, 2018. It is going to start with a 3-week qualifier that'll kind of replace the Swiss stage that we've been using for these last couple of tournaments. And after we get through the qualifiers, I believe it was the top 96 will be advancing to a group stage followed by brackets. Qualifiers will be focusing on the open mode, defeat Ganon goal. So if you want to get prepared for that, definitely start working on that. But the entire tournament may not be just those settings, but I'm not going to give all the details just yet. There'll be more information to come in the future. Stay tuned to all of the Link to the Past Randomizer Discord chats. We'll have more information about that probably as this series is wrapping up in this tournament. And, you know, after getting some other stuff figured out as well, it's not 100% ready to be revealed, but it is in the works, and October 2018 will be the date. So get hyped for that. And yeah, should be a lot of fun when that comes out.
Agreed. Thank you for the summary. I'm looking forward to it. And if anyone doesn't like it, as usual, blame VTop.
Aha!
Okay, so with that, I think we should probably wrap this up. Thank you to everybody who came out to watch. Of course, thanks to both of our runners, ChristosOwen and ALG Andy, for putting on an amazing show. This was an incredible race to watch, and definitely come back for race number 2, which will be later tonight. 5.5 hours, 6 p.m. EDT. It'll be a really, really hype game too, so definitely come back for that. Also want to give special thanks to our tracker for this event. Thank you, Malagor, for keeping track of all of the items and just in general being helpful in the chat and monitoring everything and just, you know, being very, very helpful. Special thanks to the Speed Gaming family of channels for giving us a place to broadcast these races. It's always fun to watch these and just have a place where we can consistently put out these matches. And of course, the managers of the ALTTP Randomizer channels as well for also putting out a lot of channels too. Also, a special thank you to the Speed Gaming France and German restreams that were also putting on this match as well. It was nice to have them along to, you know, give other people who may not speak this language a chance to enjoy this as well. And last but not least, major thank you to my co-com partner for this, Sir Linkalot777. It was a joy to commentate this match with you and other matches in this tournament as well. You've been a fantastic commentator, and it's been great working with you.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to call this game 1 with you as well in the finals. I'm happy to do it. I can't wait to do some more on the next tournament.
Yeah, for sure. So this is going to be Slim Kirby signing off from my last tournament for tonight. And tonight, again, game 2. Andy versus Christos, round 2. Commentary for that match will be Alucard 2004. and Willard J. Bradley. Hype set of commentators right there, so it should be a great match to watch. And yeah, see you guys later.